Hello everyone, it's Emily here from Peach Street Crafts, and in today's video we are making the first Halloween video of the year. We are making a Halloween pocket letter. So I know this video is a little bit longer and I'm just making this one pocket letter, but I decided to change up my editing a little bit, and instead of speeding this up a whole bunch, I thought that I would keep it in real time. I usually work pretty fast anyways, but I've been watching some other videos lately, some of my older stuff and, even other people's videos, just to see what I personally like to watch and the ways in which I like to watch it. And sometimes whenever I speed up my content, I notice that it just moves too fast almost, and you end up looking away for 1 second, or if you go to skip a certain part, you end up missing way more than you intended to. So I thought that I would try this out, just slowing things down a little bit, just kind of almost more of a relaxing vibe when you get to see everything in real time. And of course, it gives some more time to talk about spooky things and fun things that I have planned. So this pocket letter, I did make a little bit of it off camera. I just cut the papers to be the exact size. It takes me a while to do this, and I always end up switching around the papers a bunch to get it how I want it to look. So that's why you saw that all of the papers were already put inside of the pocket. And then on most of my pocket letters, I do a sequin mix. I think it just looks really cute, and it's fun to make something that matches the papers and the collection that you're using. And then it also takes up 2 of the pocket spaces so that you have a little bit less cards to work on. It makes it a little bit easier. So that's why a lot of my pocket letters, sometimes they end up looking very similar because I always do the 2 sequin pockets right next to one another. But anyways, I'm using the Hey Pumpkin for this collection. I decided not to stitch around the cards for this one. Typically I do, but I knew that I was going to be adding a lot of different things and elements, and sometimes when I do stitching I feel bad covering it up, and it also makes it a lot heavier. So I just thought that I would take a break from the stitching. Doesn't really need it. Pretty busy patterns anyway, so it's not like you're missing out on too much. I do end up stitching on one piece of ephemera, and I did cut that out of the video just because my sewing machine can be really obnoxious. I have to put the cord right in front of the camera, so I just do everything. I do most of my stitching off camera, but I am working on this first pocket, and I have these black tags that are in my Halloween stash. I think these are so fun and perfect for Halloween. I like the way that they look with this collection a lot because the Hey Pumpkin collection by Crate Paper has a lot of bright whites, and it matches the tag at the little, what are those, the eyelet at the top. So I used that, but the tag was the same size as the pocket, so that's why you saw me trim it down just a little bit. And then I just ripped it in half, also to take away some of the length. And I like to rip things a lot because it has texture, or it gives the project texture. So that's why you'll see that not all of my edges are always perfect. And I added this little ghost. He's from the cut apart sheet from the paper pad, and I thought that he was so cute, and I really wanted to incorporate as much blue as I could since there's a lot of blue in the backgrounds of the other papers. So I stapled him. I just like to do that sometimes to give it texture. I actually got a comment not that long ago in one of my videos. It's like, why do you staple everything? And I don't know. That's just something that I've always done. I just like the way that it looks. I'm really big into vintage type of stuff, so I've never really thought about it before that comment, but it did make me think. I was like, maybe I staple stuff too much, or why do I do that? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just finishing that off with some silver enamel dots. And I thought that tied in well with the thread that I used behind that ephemera piece. That was just some silver sewing thread. I knew from the get-go that I wanted to use this rosette on the pocket here. I thought that it tied in all of the colors perfectly. I cannot take credit from this beautiful rosette. This was made by Becca. We did a swap about 3 years ago. Excuse me. When the Hey Pumpkin collection first came out, we were both really into it. So we sent each other some mail, and I just wanted to use that rosette because it was sitting in my collection for 3 years, and I thought, you know what? It is time for it to move on to its new home. So I used that on the pocket letter. It's so cute. And now I wanted to do these 2 pockets down here. I thought that I would put this bigger piece of ephemera on top, so that's kind of why you saw me measuring it out there to see how much space that it would take up. Whenever I do pocket letters, I never try to work on each pocket individually. I always like to look and make sure that it's going to look good on the whole pocket letter all together and not just have a bunch of small decorated pieces, but that it's kind of a whole. So whenever I laid this ephemera piece here, you can kind of see on the bottom, and it will become more in frame in a second. I didn't realize at the time, but I laid that on top, and then I kind of wanted to work on the background of these little papers just to make sure that they weren't too plain. So on that blue one, I added some holographic banner pieces, and that is from the sticker set. And then on this one, I didn't want to add anything that was going to take away a bunch of the focus from that ephemera piece. So I just decided to go with these little letters. And like I mentioned, I'm trying to incorporate as much blue as I can while working on this pocket letter so that it ties in with the sequin mix that I made and it matches some of the background papers. So I added those there. That phrase does end up getting covered up a little bit, but it still says candy. And this is where I added some stitching. I didn't really know what color to use, so I just ended up going with what was already in my sewing machine, so that way I didn't have to take out any bobbins, and I didn't want it to take forever. So I just used this pink thread, and I actually think it looks pretty good. I think that even though this collection has some darker colors, it's got a good mix, and there's some pastels in there, so the pink, it didn't really look too out of place. I'm just adding some double-sided tape here so that I can tape it down. I find that whenever I use my tape runner on the outside of the pocket letters, since the material of the pocket letter is so sleek, I guess, whenever I use a tape runner, it never really sticks. So I try to use something that's a little bit more heavy duty. Even hot glue sometimes doesn't always stay. If you use too much of it, it just kind of forms this really big glob and then it just falls right off. So I'm using that double-sided tape because I just feel like it's a little bit stronger. And then I did add some small silver enamel dots to that bottom corner of the orange pocket. So those two are pretty much done. There's nothing else that I'm going to add to those. So I just started working on the next one. I really like these ephemera pieces here, and I knew that I wanted to use them. I just didn't know exactly how I wanted to do that. The Frankenstein piece is cute because, again, it adds that little pop of the green-blue color that you see in the house on the paper below, and there's also a little bit of green on that paper itself as well. So here I am trying to make more blue work. I don't end up using that black heart, so I will maybe use that on a flip book. I'm trying to be very minimal with how I decorate because I don't have a whole lot of this collection left, and it is so cute. I never considered myself a Halloween crafter. I was never into it, never cared until Crepe Paper came out with this collection 3 years ago. I thought it was really cute, and I thought, you know, even if I don't use it, I can gift it to somebody. Somebody will love it. And as soon as I got it, I ended up having to buy more of it while it was still out because I became obsessed, and it was so fun. I actually have a playlist that I'll link below for you guys where I put some of my older Halloween tutorials and videos in a playlist for you to check out. So I made a really cute flip book that year with the Hey Pumpkin collection, and I feel like that flip book was such a catalyst for Halloween crafting for me. I had so much fun making it. It got so many comments and views. A lot of people really liked it, and from then on I was like, this is actually so fun. So I have been into Halloween crafting since then. Last year I didn't get to do too much. In real life, my husband and I are very into Halloween, so October is always a busy month for us. We do a Halloween party every year. I think this will be our 4th one that we're getting ready for. And how perfect. It's on Friday the 13th, which is so cool. Let me know if you guys have any cool plans for Friday the 13th. I know a lot of my friends do the flash tattoos every year. I don't know if that's an American thing or if it's just a Florida thing, but on Friday the 13th, and regardless of what month it is, a lot of tattoo artists and tattooists will do like a flash sale where you can get something spooky from their sheet list. And it's usually pretty cheap. A lot of the times they'll make it like $13. So really cool. I myself don't have any tattoos. I don't think that I would get anything too spooky as my first one. But yeah, so we're really into Halloween, and we actually just went to Halloween Horror Nights. We went in September this year because it was a little bit cheaper. If you have ever been to that event, you know it gets pretty pricey, and we do the fast passes so that we can get all of the houses done in one night. It is such a cool event. If you're into Halloween, it is so worth it. There's just so much that you can do. And this year in Diagon Alley, they also had some Death Eaters, which is the Harry Potter section. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's really cool. And if you go, I definitely recommend getting the express pass so that you can do all of the rides really quickly and that you don't have to wait too long for the houses. It's really the only way to get all of the houses done in one night. If you don't have the express pass, you'll probably only be able to get 2 to 3 houses done. But anyways, I'm sure that not everyone is into haunted houses and scary stuff like that. So back to the pocket letter, back to the programming here. I had this little piece left from a few years ago when I used this collection. I punched out the holographic stars, and for whatever reason, I thought to keep it in my stash. Whenever I pulled out my Halloween stuff, I even was like, why did I keep this? This is so weird. This looks like trash. But I actually found a cute way to use it, and I think that it was kind of a fun addition. And because I used a lot of silver thread and enamel dots on the pocket letter, this actually tied in pretty well. So you're going to see me in just a second pull off this circular piece. You can always see whenever my fingers are tapping, I'm like, I have an idea usually. So I decided that it needed something else here. So I'm pulling the circle off, and I have this tool that somebody gifted me, and it's really pretty. It's this black tool with some orange cobwebs that are glitter. And I thought it would be cool. It ties in with the colors really well. I thought it would be cool if I put it behind this ephemera piece and then cut it into a circle, just to give it more texture, make it look a little bit more interesting. So you'll see me doing that here. And then I just used some hot glue so that I could glue this piece back onto that foam dot that got left behind because it was stubborn and wanted to stay. And I did finish the piece that was below this one as well. I didn't get the chance to talk to you about it, but I just used that bluish green piece of chipboard, which I only have like 3 or 4 chipboard pieces left. I'm so sad about it. That's the only sad thing about this collection, is that there's not more of it, and I can't just buy whatever I want from it. I hate that they do that, but I added that piece of chipboard. I added a ghost from the sticker set, which is so cute. He's got like a little smiley face and he's blushing. And to tie it in with some of the other pieces, I added some black sewing thread behind it to make it pop and stand out a little bit more. To finish off this one, I added a phrase sticker and I guess just 1 enamel dot there. I thought I might have done more, but looks like just 1. So here I am popping both of those cards back in. I feel like they came together pretty quickly. And like I said, for this video, everything is in real time, so nothing is sped up. I did cut a few things out, like for example, when I added stitching to that ephemera piece down there, I had to cut that out. It would have taken too long. And then you'll see in a second here, I cut out where I end up using some more of that tool, and I just cut around the card, so I cut that out because I didn't want it to take forever. I'm working on this haunted house one now. And I think this one was kind of hard for me because I always struggle whenever there's a busy background. I feel like I need to use larger pieces to cover it up instead of embracing the colors. And you'll see I kind of end up doing that on this one too. So I'm using these stickers just for some layering. I absolutely love the little tickets in this collection. I think the colors of them are so cute. They're like this light pastel orange pink color, and then there's a darker orange. I stapled those just to kind of tie it into the rest of the pieces that I stapled. This little guy is from the ephemera set, and he is adorable. I think he's supposed to be used as a tag, which would be so cute in a tag flip, just to have him kind of chilling in there. But I decided to use him as a piece of ephemera. So I had him hang off the edge a little bit and then just trimmed the excess off. And you couldn't tell that he was supposed to be a tag. It ended up working out. And then I'm going back to my chipboard, which so sad. I hate to use it up, but also, you know, you have to. You can't hoard things forever. And I use a chipboard piece that says October 31st on it. Oh, and I do add this phrase sticker here. I think I just pop it up on some dots. And this was the one thing that probably bothered me the most about the pocket letter. This was like a little bit off center, and then I had to trim off the excess because it hung on the side. So you'll see what I mean here, but maybe it's not that big of a deal, and you know, you're always your own worst critic, but it really bugged me that I had to cut off the piece of the word there, but oh well. And then after this, I come in with that chipboard piece. And even though I was using a lot of foam dots and I used a few pieces of chipboard, I felt like this pocket letter was probably the smaller one that I've made, the smallest one that I've made. It wasn't too dimensional, it wasn't too thick. After I finished it, it was still light enough to like fold and bendy enough to move around. So I will be making a pocket letter purse for this. If you don't know what that is, I'll link a tutorial down below. Essentially, it's just a fun way to store your pocket letter and send it in mail. And it looks like a purse, basically. It doesn't use a cut file or anything. It's just scoring and cutting. So if you are looking for a way to store your pocket letters, you can check that out. I don't know if I'll end up making that on camera or not, but if I do, I will try to remember to come back to this video and link it. So keep an eye out for that. And then I'm just showing you kind of a quick flip through here of what we've got done so far. We have one final pocket to work on, and it is the black and white paper in the corner. I went back to that little cut apart sheet that I used on the first pocket, and I decided to staple some of these together. I felt like this was kind of my last chance to tie in all of the colors, and that's something that I always try to do well whenever I'm working on a pocket letter, because you never want it to be individual squares or pockets that are decorated by themselves. You kind of want everything to be very cohesive, have like an overall flow, and you want to decorate the pocket letter as a whole. If you guys watched the old videos by Becky Share, Rachel Towman, when they did pocket letters, Share Crane, that was always the advice that they talked about in those videos, was to decorate as a whole. So that is what I always try to do. Here's where I ended up using that tool. I really wanted to try to find a way to use it one more time, just so that way, again, it was cohesive and it wasn't just kind of a darkness in the top corner, right? Because this tool is pretty dark. So I just decided to use it here as kind of the background. And since I had another paper on the pocket letter that was the same, I didn't feel too bad about covering this one up. I did, however, struggle, because once I put this into the pocket, it does kind of get bent up a little bit. You'll see what I mean. And I don't know if there's really a way to smooth it down. Maybe if I reached my scissors in there, it would work a little bit better. I'll have to check that out and see. I'm adding a piece of chipboard here to finish this one off. And then, of course, you have to add the enamel dots. You've got to make it all flow. And I think I used up a whole sheet of enamel dots on this one, or at least a half sheet, because I usually cut mine up. But no worries, I will gladly take a Hobby Lobby trip to pick up some more. And that was the last pocket done. So I'm just kind of looking over and making sure everything fits. And here is the final flip through, show through, if you will, of what we created. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really looking forward to doing more Halloween videos this season. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you get notified when I post them. And I will see you all next time. Bye!